You smell that?
Nature's most powerful aphrodisiac.
Leaving right after this drink. Rock and roll, whiskey, and other stories. With your host, Brian Shaw.
Cheers. And welcome to episode 12 of I'm Leaving Right After This Drink, Rock and Roll, Whiskey, and Other Stories. So tonight, instead of jumping right in and getting into a story about somebody that I had met or something like that, I figured tonight I would kind of mix it up a little bit, kind of keep you on your toes for the 4 people that are watching this podcast, that I would just kind of talk about some of the random things that I've been doing or witnessed over the last few weeks since the last episode. And just cluing you in. Maybe you're checking out some of this shit. Maybe you're not. Who knows? Maybe I'll even turn you on to something that you might go, I think I should watch that. That sounds kind of entertaining. One of those things happens to be a show called I Dated a Psycho. And there's also another one called like My Crazy Ex. I mean, what the fuck? There's enough crazy people out there in the dating world and on the dating apps that they got to make TV shows about these crazy motherfuckers. Let me just tell you this. The first thing that goes through your head after you watch one episode, is I am never dating again. That's the first thing. Then the second thing, after about another half of another episode, you go, I am never getting on a dating app ever again. Because it's a bunch of crazy motherfuckers. Holy shit. Like, some of the stories they tell you, and some of them I go, okay, maybe this is a little bit embellished or a lot, but the baseline of the story is there. Even though I do have respect for one guy. And the one guy who was the crazy ex in the story was that he had met these 2 girls while he was out. And like one was a nerdy girl, the other girl was kind of like, was the cute, I like bad boy type person. So he gets hooked up with the chick who likes the nerdy guy because he's kind of nerdy. He's got glasses and works on computers, whatever, just a stereotypical nerd. And so he hooks up with her. And then a couple days later, he sees the other chick in the grocery store. And check this shit out. She's like, oh, hey, you're Joe. And he's like, no. That's my twin brother. She's like, what? Come to find out, this dude starts dating the hot friend. He's also the nerd. That's the big fucking twist in that fucking story. And I was like, damn, out of all the things I've ever done when I was dating, I never pretended to have a twin. Maybe that's what I should try and do next. God damn, could you imagine? 2 of me? Whew, nobody wants that. I don't even think I do. So yeah, you got to check out these shows. I think it's I Dated a Psycho, My Crazy Ex. There's another one I just randomly stumbled across on Netflix the other day too, which is also another crazy fucking dating TV show. Like, man, you just got to stay out of the dating world right now because it's fucking insane. Anyhow, that's a whole nother podcast for 2 or 3 down the road. The next thing that I watched was just the other night, and I watched that Nickelback movie. And I know here I am talking about how I wasn't going to get into talk about meeting a band or whatever tonight, but I met Nickelback back in, I guess, 2011 maybe. I was living in Las Vegas at the time. And I got to tell you, man, those guys were super cool. And they took everything in stride. We ended up having dinner with some of their road crew and stuff. Like the road crew was super cool. And, we ended up, doing the meet and greet and stuff before the show with Nickelback. Super nice dudes. We ended up doing the party with them after the show because comedian Craig Gass had helped us, get back to the after party. And we had a blast at that. So super nice guys. I will honestly tell you, I've always been a fan of Nickelback. I think Nickelback has some great fucking music, and I'm sure there's going to be some hate based on me saying that, but it is true. I mean, let's think about this. The band has sold over 50 million albums. You can't be that shitty if you sold 50 million albums, right? I don't think so. But anyhow, that's, again, up for debate on where your musical tastes are. Some people like them, some people don't. It is what it is. It's music, and we all can agree that music brings us all together at the end of the day. And I don't know where that came from, but it just kind of sounded good. Like I said, it's just totally random thoughts tonight, going off the cuff for this 15 or 16 minutes tonight. That's what it is. But this movie is really cool. You should check it out. Like them or not, it's kind of, you get that, at least what they went through to get to be as big of a band as they are. And again, over 50 million records sold. I mean, they're in the top 15 of the highest selling bands. Like, it's crazy. And yet there's like this kind of like disrespect for those guys because they write, radio friendly songs or whatever. But anyhow, so yeah, check that movie out. It's called Nickelback, Love or Hate to Love or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And then since we're kind of talking about music, a few weeks ago, Jack Russell died. This sucks, man. Great White was such a great fucking band. It was a great fucking band with Jack Russell. So this is kind of like, this is always like a really weird situation when you get into like some of these old 80s hair bands where there's two of the bands out on tour. There's two Rats, there's two Queensryches, there's two Great Whites. Like, it's crazy. Like, what the fuck? Guys, get your shit together and just do one. The world can't handle two of these bands, right? You're not that good. There probably wouldn't be two of you. Anyhow, so Jack Russell passes away. Totally sucks. Guy's been in bad shape for, the last couple of years. He's been sitting down doing shows and the whole thing. The guy could still sing and perform and whatever, but you know what? He came out there, he had to do it sitting down, or he had to walk with a cane and, just all kinds of that, just crazy shit. And it sucks. But here's what I always find amusing after somebody in music passes away. The former members always talk about what a great guy he was. No different in this case with Jack Russell. Jack Russell passes away, and guess what happens? Mark Kendall comes out and talks about what an amazing singer he was, what a great bandmate he was, blah, blah, blah. No fucking way, dude. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to the fucking fans. Because if he was that good and that amazing, you would have figured out a way to at least done something with the guy instead of having two different versions of your band as you were, touring. Now, on top of that, you had Great White with Mark Kendall and the 85 singers that went through that band. Then you had Jack Russell's Great White, where Jack Russell was fronting that band with his touring musicians. And I don't know any of those guys. I don't know anybody in any of these bands. And yet, Jack Russell's Great White is going to continue touring. And you think, how? Why? Is this necessary? Of course it's not necessary. This is where I also get lost in the egos and shit of musicians and music and the whole thing. Is now, when Great White got rid of Jack Russell, because he was such an amazing singer and great guy, they brought in, I think his name is Terry Ilous. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but they bring him in and they do a great record. And it sounds like Great White and it's a really cool album. Some great songs on it. I really enjoy that record. And then eventually, Terry gets nixed from the band and they bring in somebody else. And then there's just like this revolving door of 3 or 4 guys, at this point. Now Jack Russell passes away, and I don't know who gets this great idea, but they say, hey, let's get Terry to continue on performing Jack Russell's Great White. Now, if that's not a crazy enough idea, what's going on in the idea of Terry to go, you know what? That sounds fucking awesome. I'm in to be the singer for that band. What? Why? Why are you doing this is the question. Because there cannot be a lot of money in this project, right? And who's the promoter that's booking this band? Who's booking Jack Russell's Great White when there's no Jack Russell? Like, am I the only one who's thinking this? I can't be. And I know I can't be because I've talked to a few friends of mine about it and we've gotten a good laugh. So I just don't understand the egos and everything that goes on. And I've been around a lot of egos in the entertainment business, and musicians are definitely up there. There's some people above them, probably some people in government who have bigger egos than musicians. But like, you just go, dude, like, you're a great singer. You got to be able to get some sort of gigs as a singer or a musician or something, right? Like, it just boggles my mind, I guess, at this point, that if I'm him, I go, yeah, that sounds like a fun gig, because he cannot be getting paid that much money and certainly can't get paid enough to be paying the bills, right? I don't know, man. It's just all very weird. And I'll be honest, I think some of these guys, like, I would have more respect for you if you just said, fuck it. The music business, I did it. I had a successful career at one point. I've toured the world. I toured the country. You have probably done more than most people will ever do in their life when it comes to seeing things and doing things when you were with a band. And now it's like, I'm still hanging on to it. I still want that. And believe me, there's still a little bit, even that happened to me when I was doing radio, as stupid as that sounds. Like, I couldn't let it go, man. I love the business and I wanted to be on the air. But eventually you go, man, you just can't do it anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. And so I feel like I would have way more respect for some of these guys if I walked into Walmart and they were the fucking Walmart greeter. Like, oh man, loved your band when, and it sucks for you now or whatever. But hey, you know what? At least you're not out there touring in something that's barely bringing in a crowd. So, man, that's kind of my little rant for today. It kind of turned out to be more of a rant today than anything. And I don't know. I'm usually kind of a happy drunk. So anyhow, just some random thoughts over the last few weeks. And I guess I'll wrap it up with this one. Saw Slash over the last couple of weeks as well. And Slash is promoting his blues record. And I got to tell you, man, it did not sell very well. I was shocked. Saw him here in Clearwater, and the crowd was like very little. A lot of people up front, of course. In the secondary section of seats, pretty sparse. The lawn, definitely pretty empty. I think the venue probably holds, I don't know, roughly 5,000 people. I don't even think this place was at 50% capacity. I mean, it looked like there was probably 150 people on the lawn. It was pretty wild. And it's Slash. So definitely kind of interesting, but he was kind of doing this whole blues thing, the Serpent Festival, of kind of promoting the blues. And I think Robert Randolph opened the show. Really cool dude. Did some cool music. ZZ Ward was kind of like this bluesy chick. I felt like she was a little bit more on the poppy side. Decent looking woman, plays some good music. And then the third band that was on right before Slash was this band Lark and Poe, and these two sisters. And man, they are phenomenal. So if you don't know much about Lark and Poe and you're into the blues and blues rock, definitely check them out, because man, they are definitely pretty killer. And then of course Slash comes out at the end, and it's just loud, right? And you're like, okay, you're pushing the record, and when you go see Slash, he's not really talking a whole lot and stuff, and he really doesn't. The keyboard player, I think Teddy Andreas is his keyboard player, also sings, and he's kind of doing the front man duty. He's kind of sitting back a little bit off to the side of the stage playing the keyboards, and he's got Tosh Neal singing, which was fantastic. His drummer and bass player. I mean, look, it's top-notch musicians, coming out with Slash and stuff. But it was just kind of surprising to see that the venue, was that empty. And the ticket sales obviously didn't do so well. And that's Slash. Imagine what it's like if you're booking Jack Russell's Great White without Jack Russell. What? I mean, of course, you're not even coming close to like the little amphitheater that held 5,000 people. You're playing a little bar, but in the bar, who's still showing up to see that? I don't know. That's all I got. Slash still kicked ass, but that's all I got for today. I think that's enough. Once again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thanks for the likes, the follows, the subscribes, the whole thing, the subscriptions. And I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for your feedback. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Cheers. Still want that Jack Daniels endorsement. Thanks.
Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe. You dig?
God bless the internet.